So here, to analyze the truss with a graphical method, we first of all should have the dimensions, isn't it? So starting with what our truss is having span 21 meter, which is shown here, span 21 meter, and rise is given as 4.2 meter. Okay, so we have taken a scale here, 1 as 200, or we can say that 1 centimeter is equal to 100 centimeter. Okay, so here if 21 meter span is there, so we are going to take 21 centimeter length. Similarly, if height or rise is 4.2 meter, take 4.2 centimeter distance here. Okay, so basically, first of all, our scale is 1 as 200 for the linear dimensions, and second, for the forces, our scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilonewton. Okay, now how to start that drawing? First of all, first of all, draw the outline of truss. To draw the outline of truss, we have to draw, first of all, the baseline, isn't it? The span. That means starting from 1 centimeter to 21 centimeter, draw 121 centimeter line with the scale 1 as to 100, isn't it? Now, from the center, from the center, draw one vertical line, that is rise, that is equal to 4.2 meter. Now our truss is Pratt truss, isn't it? So therefore we have to draw one horizontal line and one vertical line. So 21 meter horizontal line and 4.2 meter vertical line. Okay. Now by we at the topmost position of that center line, complete the truss. Okay. Now complete the truss by drawing these inclined lines, both the inclined lines. So after completion of truss, our truss will be like this. Okay, so the outline of truss is now completed. After that, what we have to do, we have to select the panel points. Okay, so in our manual it is shown, we have already calculated in the problem that how many number of panel points are there and how many total number of panels are there. Okay, so we have calculated in our problem, that is 9 panel points for the half truss. That is, if you consider the whole truss, total number of panels are 18. Okay, now if total number of panels are 18, we have to divide this whole span into 18 number of equal parts so that we can able to locate the panel location, isn't it? Now divide this whole 21 meter length into 18 parts. Okay, after dividation, the that 18 parts will be indicated like this. Okay, so this red color marking is shown that this 21 meter span is divided into 18 number of panels. Okay, now after that, these red color marks are at the span. Now our truss is Pratt truss, so just draw vertical members, isn't it? After completion of vertical members, you will get the location of panel points at the this inclined line, isn't it? On this inclined line, you will get the location of that particular panel points. Okay, now after getting that particular whole truss, okay, after drawing these vertical lines or vertical members, complete the inclined members, draw inclined members within the geometry, isn't it? So after completion of our truss will finally looks like this. Okay, now this red color are the vertical members and the green color are inclined members. Now this is our complete truss. Now here we have to analyze this truss for unit load. Okay. Now this unit load will come at each junction at the incline line. Okay, at the topmost position. Now you have to draw. We have to draw at each point 1 kilonewton load. Okay, and how that 1 kilonewton load comes, we are going to assume it half load from the left side and half load from the right side, so complete load will be 1. And if you consider at the extreme ends, what will happen at the extreme ends, there is only one sided panel is present, so there is no any another side. Okay, if you consider this A point or this extreme point, there is only right side members, no left side members are present, so that load will be only half of that particular one, that is 0.5. Similarly at the right end, now this whole junctions or whole joints are loaded with 1 kilonewton load, and this final, that is extreme ends, are loaded with 0.5 kilonewton load. Okay, now after getting or after showing the loads, our truss will somewhat look like this. Okay, each and every junction is loaded with 1 kilonewton load, and at the extreme ends the loads are 0.5 kilonewton and 0.5 kilonewton. Okay, now if you consider this truss, okay, if you consider this truss, okay, now here uh, count the total number of vertical loads. Okay, this is a symmetrical truss. That means we can easily say that half load will be transferred at this end and half load will be transferred at this end. So the reactions at the extreme ends will be same, isn't it? So if you count this total number of loads, it will comes out to be somewhat 18, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and this 0.5 plus this 0.5, 18. So total number of or total load will be 18 kilonewton. And if 18 kilonewton load is present on this whole truss, so half of 18 is 9 kilonewton is going to be transferred on the right side, and half is going to be transferred to the left side. Okay, now, what we have to do, we have to give the notations to a particular panel. Here, each and every space is denoted with some line. Okay, we have to denote it. So, first of all, we are going to denote the outer points, isn't it? Outer points we are going to denote, and then we are going to denote the inner points. Now, starting with the outer points, we have to start from the outer end, extreme end. Now remember that in between two notation, there should be one load, isn't it? In between two notation, there should be one load or reaction. Anyone should be present. Okay, so we are going to start from this end. Okay, so after giving the notations, we are going to give a small letter A at this particular extreme end, and after this 0.5 kilonewton, there should be B. Similarly, after this 1 kilonewton, C, then D, then E, F, G, H, I, like this. Okay, after giving the notations, our figure will somewhat looks like this. Okay, now see, we have started from this point. We have started from this extreme point, give the notation A, then B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, and this U. Now see, here there is a special case U. I have already told you that in between two notations there should be one load. So if you consider T notation, after T to U, if you consider T to U, there is a one reaction, isn't it? How much reaction? 9 kilonewton. So this whole span is having only one notation, that is U. Next, now again consider from U to A, isn't it? U to A. If you consider from U to A, there is one reaction of 9 kilonewton, isn't it? So that 9 kilonewton reaction is between U to A. Okay, so again we can say there should be only one load. Okay, now this is the outer notations. Now we have to give inner notations. So for inner notation, each space is to be given with some inner name. So how to give that particular name? Consider uh, to give the inner notation. To give the inner notation, we have to select or we have to start from the extreme end as always. Okay, and each and every inner notation, in between that inner notation there should be one member. So one member should be in between two inner notations. So how to give the names? After giving the names or starting with the names, our figure will looks like this. Suppose this is the corner, the left corner of the truss. Okay, now these are the outer members. We have already outer names are given. Now starting with inner. Okay, so this space is denoted with 1. After 1 there is this vertical member, and after 1 we have given this space as 2. Okay, now after 2 there is one member, this inclined member. After 2 we have given name 3. Okay, similarly after 3 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. Okay, so in this way, each and every space is denoted with some number. Okay, and after giving these numbers, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, after giving whole these numbers, our figure will looks like this. Okay, after 8, then 9, then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then rest of the process. Okay, now after 17, see here, after 17 there is a vertical member, and then 18, after 18 incline member, and 19. Okay, after that 19 vertical member, then 20. So in this way we have to give the inner notations. That means after for the outer notation, in between two notations there should be one force or reaction. For the inner members or inner notation, we have to give the name to the particular space, or we can say that in between two notations there should be one member. Okay, now after giving these names, or after giving these points, outer and inner, our figure is completed now. Okay, so the complete figure will looks like this. Okay, outer notations, inner notations, vertical loads, that is dead loads, and then reactions, 9 kilonewton reactions. Now after this diagram we have to draw a vector diagram. So how to start for the vector diagram? See, basically our vector diagram is a transformation of load into the figure, isn't it? Now here these vertical loads are dead loads. Okay, that's why we have to draw one vertical line parallel to these loads. Okay, first of all draw one vertical line. Okay, so we are going to draw one vertical line like this, vertical. Just we have to draw a basic vertical line first of all, or draw one dotted line. Okay, we can say a dotted line. And to move forward we have to concentrate on this figure. See, for the starting of this vector diagram, we have to start from the point where minimum loads are there or minimum reactions are there, isn't it? So if we consider this figure, if we consider this truss, we can say that if you move from A to B, there is one load. Okay, from B to C, there is one load, but there are members also. Okay, now if you consider, see, if you consider from U to A, isn't it? If you go from U to A, there is one maximum load, that is 9 kilonewton. Okay, so we have to start from the point where maximum load is there, isn't it? So that we can able to analyze easily. So where is the maximum load present? Here, from U to A. We can also say from T to U, isn't it? But why we are going to start? See here, basically this truss is symmetrical truss. That means we can say that if you solve only half of the truss, that means this half truss if you solve, you can get the values for this half truss also. Okay, so you calculate only for half truss, then you will automatically get the values of the rest of the truss. So we are going to analyze only half truss. So for that half truss we have to consider this. Okay, so start from U, reach up to A, there is a maximum load that is 9 kilonewton. If you consider this whole half truss, there is no load which is more than 9. Okay, that's why we have to start from the load where maximum load is present. So maximum load is 9 kilonewton. It is present in between U and A. That's why start from U, so that we can able to calculate it easily. Okay, now draw one vertical line which is parallel to this load and locate the point U somewhere. Okay, so I have already drawn one line. Okay, so this is the dotted line, and I have located one U point here. Okay, arbitrary location of U. You can locate the U point somewhere, anywhere you can locate. Okay, so I have located that U point here, a basic U point. There is no any particular restriction for the U point. You can locate it anywhere. Okay, after location of U, see that you have, we are going to start from U and we have to move in clockwise direction, isn't it? So if you move from clockwise direction, U to A, there is 9 kilonewton load in vertical direction, isn't it? Vertically upward. See here, U to A, 9 kilonewton reaction is present. It is vertically upward, isn't it? So our our scale is what? 1 kilonewton is equal to 1 centimeter. Okay, and if 9 kilonewton load is present, we have to move to 9 centimeter upward. Why upward? Because 9 kilonewton load is acting in upward direction. Okay, now if you start from U, if you consider 9 centimeter line, then where you are going to reach? You are going to reach up to A, isn't it? Because our intention is to reach up to A. Okay, so start from U, move in vertical direction up to 9 centimeter. What you will get? A point. Okay, so after moving 9 centimeter distance, your figure will somewhat looks like this. Okay, so this is U point. You have measured 9 centimeter distance, which is equals to 9 kilonewton as per the scale, and you will get A point here. Okay, now after getting A, now see here, after getting A, what we have to do? See, after A there is B. Okay, now see that from A to B, just a minute. Okay, from A to B there is 0.5 kilonewton load, isn't it? We know that our first load is 0.5 kilonewton, isn't it? If from A to B, if you are moving from A to B, see here, A to B, if you move, there is a 0.5 kilonewton load which is in downward direction. Okay, and downward direction load, as well as 0.5 kilonewton is equal to how much? 0.5 centimeter, isn't it, as per the scale? So to locate the point B on this figure, we have to move in downward direction. Why? Because load is acting in downward direction. Now starting with A, move in downward direction, locate point B. How much we have to move? 0.5 centimeter. Move 0.5 centimeter, locate point B. After location of point B, our figure will somewhat looks like this. Okay, 0.5 centimeter downward, location of B. Okay, then after the location of B, we have to move, or we have to start, or we have to go for the next point, that is C. Okay, now see, if you move from B to C, there is 1 kilonewton load that we known with 1 kilonewton load is present. Okay, so this figure is having 1 kilonewton load here. So from B to C, see again, if you move from B to C, load is in downward direction. Okay, and 1 kilonewton load is present. So 1 kilonewton is equal to 1 centimeter, and move in downward direction. Okay, so move in downward direction for 1 centimeter, you will get C. Okay, so here after location of C, our figure will somewhat looks like this. Now similarly, if you start from C to D, see, first of all we have moved from A to B 0.5 as load is in downward direction, move in downward direction 0.5 centimeter. If you start from B to C, there is 1 kilonewton load is downward direction. So from B to C, move the distance 1 centimeter, locate the point C. From C to D, there is load 1 kilonewton and in downward direction. So from C, move in downward direction for 1 centimeter, locate point D. Similarly, locate all the points with 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilonewton load and reach up to J, isn't it? Because we are going to analyze only half truss. Okay, so the forces which are present here are exactly equal to the forces which are present on the right hand side. Okay, because this truss is symmetrical. That's why we are going to analyze only half truss. Okay, now after completion of this, we have to locate for the inner points. Okay, now for the inner points, what we have to do? See, from A to B we have already completed. Now from B to 1 we have to go. Okay, B to 1 we have to go. Now we are going to move from B to 1. Okay, B to 1. If you start from B and reach up to 1, see, there is one inclined line. This line is inclined line. Okay, so we have to draw a line which is parallel to this line. Okay, the line which is parallel to this line. Which line? The line in between B and 1. And we have to start that line from B in vector diagram. In this vector diagram we have only point B. We don't have the location of 1. We have to locate that point 1. That's why we have to start from B. Okay, now start from B, draw a line which is parallel to this line. Okay, after drawing that line, what will happen? You will get one line. Okay, so that line will look like somewhat this. Okay, see, this line I have drawn from here and reach up to somewhere here. Okay, so this line is parallel to this inclined line. Okay, now Now we have to locate the point 1. We don't know where the location of point 1 is. Okay. Now consider this 1 to u, isn't it? See this horizontal line is u. We have already denoted that horizontal line is u. So this u line will be horizontal line. 1 and this u, in between 1 and u there is horizontal line. So we can say that we have the location of u, but we don't have the location of 1. We can say that this B to 1 line and this U to 1 line will meet somewhere. Okay. So 1 to U is a horizontal line. So draw one line which is parallel to this horizontal line from U in vector diagram. So in vector diagram, we have the location of U. Start from U and draw one horizontal line, and we can say that horizontal line will cross this B1 line somewhere. Okay. So after crossing that B1 line, you will get this one location of this 1 point. Okay. So we have the location of 1 now. Okay. Now after the location of 1 is getting, we have to reach from 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, like this. Okay. Now starting from this, what we have to do, we have to start now location of 2. Now here we can say that this 2, if you concentrate on this figure, this 1 and 2, we have one vertical line, isn't it? From 1 to 2, we have one vertical member or vertical line, but here there is no any kind of external force, isn't it? There is no any kind of external force present. Or we can say that from 1 to 2, if you reach from 1 to 2, there is no any valid point, isn't it? So that's why we can locate this 1 and 2 at the same point. Okay, the location of 1 and 2 are at the same point. We can again say the how that 1 and 2 are at the same point. We will again understand this when we locate point 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so right now we can say that point 1 and 2 are at the same point. Okay, so locate the point 2 here. The point 2 is located here. Now next, now we are going to move towards next, that is from joint B. Now we have analyzed A point first. Okay, A point first. If you consider A point first, then start from A to B. Okay, we have 1.5 kilonewton load. Reach from B to 1. We have already drawn the line parallel to this B1 line. Then from 1 to U, we have drawn one horizontal line. Okay, that is completed. Now joint A is completed now because we know the value of B1 as well as 1U. It is drawn. Now analyze this B point. Okay, if you consider this B point, start from this C. Okay, now draw one line which is parallel to C3. Okay, so if you consider this point, then we have to start from C to 3. Always remember, you are going to move in clockwise direction. Okay, so to move the clockwise direction, you start from C and reach up to 3. Okay, now we have started from 1 to 2. Okay, now we are going to analyze point B. See, if you consider point B, joint B, we have started from C to 3. Okay, now from C to 3, there is one inclined line. So draw one line which is parallel to this line. Okay, in vector diagram, we have the location of C in vector diagram. So draw one line from C which is parallel to this line. So after drawing that line, our figure will somewhat looks like this. Okay, we have the location of C. Draw one line which is parallel to this C3. Okay, so this line is parallel to C3. Okay, now we don't have the location of 3 now. We are going to locate that 3. How to locate that 3? See, we are starting, or we are analyzing point B. Okay, we have drawn C3 line. Now if you move clockwise, if you have to move from 3 to 2, okay, from 3 to 2 there is this inclined line. Okay, this small inclined line. Now this small inclined line, we have to draw a line which is parallel to this line starting to 2. Okay, we have the location of 1 and 2, isn't it? So from 2, draw one line which is inclined or which is parallel to this 2, 3 line. Okay, so after drawing, we know we have the location of 2 here. Draw one line which is parallel to that 2, 3. Okay, so after drawing that 2, 3 line, this 2, 3 line, this figure will somewhat looks like this. Okay, so join this particular 2, 3 line, and this 2, 3 line will meet this C3 line at this particular point. Okay, then you will get the location of 3. Okay, similarly, if you get the location of 3, now you can see here from 3 to 4 we have one point. 3 to 4, isn't it, vertical line? Okay, so or we can say from 4 to 3, if you consider clockwise direction, from 4 to 3 there is one vertical line. Okay, so draw one vertical line here. After drawing the vertical line, see, 4 to 3. Okay, now after drawing this vertical line, our this 4 point will be meet at a U, isn't it? This U line, see, this 4 point is located on this horizontal line. So this is U is drawn here in vector diagram at this particular horizontal line. And if you draw a line which is parallel to this vertical line from 3, you will get the location of 4. Okay, now similarly, C point is complete, sorry, B point is completed. Now we are going to move to the C point. Okay, now analyze this C point. At C point there is D5. Okay, there is a line. Draw a line parallel to this D5 line. Okay, from D in vector diagram. So this D is located in vector diagram here. Draw a line parallel to this D5 in this vector diagram. Okay, so after drawing that line which is parallel to this D5, it will somewhat looks like this. Okay, this is the line D5. Now again we have the location of 4. Okay, now we have to draw one line which is parallel to this 5 4. Okay, 5 4 in the vector diagram. 5 4, we have the location of 4. Now draw one line which is parallel to this 5 4. Okay, so draw like this. After drawing that line, your figure will somewhat looks like this. Okay, so 4 5 5 4. Okay, or 4 5, whatever. Now again 4 3. Okay, sorry, 4 5 6 5 6. Okay, now we are going to move to the next, that is 5 6. So from 5 5 6 is vertical. In between 5 and 6 there is a vertical member. So draw one vertical line up to U, isn't it? See, this 6 is located on U. You have to remember that the members 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16, these are all on this horizontal line. That's why each and every location will get at this horizontal line. Okay, now draw one line which is parallel to 5 6, which will reach to this particular line. Okay, after drawing that particular line, our figure will somewhat looks like this. Okay, 5 to 6. Okay, now moving to the next, our 6 point is completed. We have analyzed C point. Now analyze D. Okay, now if you analyze D, you have, see here, if you analyze D, you have a member E7. E7. So there is one inclined line. Draw one line which is parallel to this E7 line starting from E in vector diagram. So E is located here. Draw one line which is parallel to that E7 in this vector diagram. After drawing that line, our figure will somewhat looks like this. E7. Okay. Now after drawing that E7, 7 to 6. From 7 to 6, there is an inclined line. We have the location of 6. Draw one line which is parallel to 7 6 line in vector diagram. So after drawing, our figure will be like this. Then 7 sorry 7 to 8, 7 to 8 vertical line. Okay, 7 to 8 vertical line. So draw one line which is exactly vertical from 7 and will meet to you somewhere here. The location of 8 will be known. Then our D point is completed. Now start E point. Okay, now for E point there is a member FG. Draw one line which is parallel to FG in vector diagram from F. Okay, so like this. Then again you have the location of 8 9 8. Okay, so 9 8 is an inclined line. Starting from 8, draw one line which is parallel to this 9 8 line. Okay, so after drawing and will meet at some FG somewhere. Okay, it will meet at F line here. Okay, so the location of 9. Again 9 10 vertical line. So draw one vertical line. Figure will looks like this. Again from 10. Okay, from 10, if you complete 10, then the line which is, then from 9 to 10, we are going to move towards the next joint, that is F. Okay, so F joint. From F joint, you have to analyze from F joint. There is next member, that is G, isn't it? G. G11. Draw a line which is parallel to G11. Okay, like this. G11 line. Then after completion of that G11 line, we have the location of 10. Okay, so 11, 10, 10, 11, this inclined line starting with 10, draw one line which is parallel to this 10, 11 line. Our figure will be like this. Okay, 10, 11 line. Okay, then after 10, 11, 11, 12. Okay, 11, 12 is vertical line. Draw one vertical line up to you. Okay, 11, 12. Okay, then after 11, 12, next joint. Okay, next joint is what? G. Analyze G. H13. So start from H13, draw one line, inclined line, which is parallel to that H13. So starting with H, our figure will be like this. Okay. Now we have the location of 12. Okay. So after that H13, H13, 13, 12 or 12, 13. Okay. Inclined line. Draw a line which is parallel to this 13, 12. Okay. 13, 12, which will somewhat looks like this 12, 13. Okay. So from 13 to 14, vertical line. Draw one vertical line, reach up to you like this. Okay, 13, 14. Next joint, that is H. I-15. Okay, draw one line which is parallel to that I-15 like this. I-15, and we have the location of 15. Okay, so now here inclined line 14, 15. So draw one 14, 15 parallel to this 14, 15, you will get the location of 15. Okay, then if you get the location of 15, 15, 16, vertical line. Okay, so draw one line which is vertical and reach up to you. Okay, so figure will somewhat looks like this. Location of 16 will be known. Okay, then 16, 17, inclined line. So before that inclined line, take the next joint, that is I. J17. Draw parallel line J17 from J. Okay, so figure will looks like this, J17, and draw one line which is parallel to this 17, 16 or 16, 17. Okay, so it will meet to J line somewhere here. Okay, and vertical line, that is 17, 18. Okay, so this figure will be completed now. If you completed this 17, 18, if you complete this 17, 18, your half of vector diagram is completed. Now the problem is about only notations, that is tension compression, that we are going to see right now. Okay, now you have to see this vector diagram first. This is the half vector diagram only, because we are going to analyze only half truss. Okay, now see, this 1 and 2 are at the same point. See, we have already discussed about 1, 2. Okay, there is one vertical line in between 1 and 2, but as there is no any space, so 1 and 2 are at the same point. But 4, 3 is having some length, so that's why 4, 3 is having some distance. Now, how to analyze that tension compression? See here, to start from this, concentrate here at joint A. Every time whenever you are going to concentrate or whenever you are going to start the tension compression analysis, you have to move in clockwise direction. First of all, select a joint. To solve that joint, move in clockwise direction only. Okay, move in clockwise direction only. To move the in clockwise direction, now consider joint A. Okay, move in clockwise direction. Now if you move in clockwise direction, start from B to 1. B to 1. Now if you consider B1, where is B1 line location in vector diagram? See here, this is the point B and this is point 1. This is the line which is B1 line. Okay, B1 line is here. If this line is B1, okay, give the notation from B to 1. You remember the direction of arrow from B to 1. Okay, now B to 1 is moving in this like this. Okay, this is the arrow B to 1, and give the location of that arrow close to 1, close to 1, and the same direction is to be given to this particular member, and that arrow is shown close to A. Why A? because we are analyzing point A. Okay, now as this location is known, the opposite location is given to the member. Okay, so next, this is the notation of B1 member. Okay, now next, next will be this next, that is 1 to U. Okay, so this is U, so whole these members are U. Now here we have to find out only for these smaller members, isn't it? This one panel, this one member, this one member, this one member, like this. So this small member, okay, this small member only. Okay, now move from 1 to U. Okay, if you move from 1 to U, where is the location of 1 and U in vector diagram? See here, this is the location of 1, this is the location of 1, and this is the location of U. Start from 1, move up to U, it will be in this direction. Show the arrow close to U, isn't it? And the same arrow is to be shown in this truss at the A point. Okay, see, I have shown here to minimize the confusion. I have shown close to A. Why A? Because we are analyzing A, isn't it? We have to show the arrow close to A because we are analyzing A. And opposite arrow is to be shown to the corresponding value. Okay, so after that our figure will somewhat looks like this. See, this is a compression, this is a tension. Okay, now similarly we are moving to the next, that is B joint. Okay, now our A joint is completed. Now start B joint. To start this B joint, to start the B joint, okay, now start the B joint. Now starting with B joint, our member, previous member is known. Now start with the B, C3 member. Okay, where is the location of C3 member? C, C2, 3. Okay, C2, 3. Show the arrow, show the arrow. Now the arrow will be like this, C2, 3. Arrow will be like this, close to 3. And now same direction arrow is to be shown on this truss diagram here. And that direction or that notation will be close to B because we are analyzing B, isn't it? So opposite arrow is to be shown here, then we will get the member. Okay, so like this. Now move from 3 to 2. Okay, 3 to 2. So where is the location of 3 to 2 in vector diagram? See here, 3 to 2, 3 to 2. Okay, so look, notation will be like this. Okay, 3 to 2, it will be shown like this, 3 to 2. Okay, I have shown like this, 3 to 2, like this. Okay, now same notation we have to show in this diagram, like this, 3 to 2. Okay, like this. And this notation is to be shown close to B because we are analyzing B. Okay, whatever the point we are analyzing, notation should be given close to that point. Okay, and the opposite notation is to be given for this two. Okay, now here, see, this diagram is very important to understand. Okay, now see here, this is 2 to 3 location. Okay, it is shown here, and the same 2 3 location is shown here. Okay, okay, so move to the next, that is next joint. Okay, now next joint, that is 2 to U. Okay, now see, this is U. Okay, now 2 to U. If you move in clockwise direction 2 to U, where is the location of this in vector diagram? See, there is somewhere 2 which is present here. Okay, 2 and U is here. So direction will be like this. So 2 to U will be like this. Okay, close to that 2, close to B because we are analyzing B. Okay, and opposite notation should be given here. Okay, similarly next, that is joint C. Now D5, D to 5, this arrow, same this arrow. Then 5 to 4, where is 5 to 4? 5 to 4, this arrow. Okay, this arrow will be shown here, close to C. Okay, similarly, you reach from 4 to 3, where is 4 to 3? 4 to 3. Okay, downward direction. Okay, close to 3. So, downward direction, close to this C because we are analyzing C. like this. 4 to 3, downward direction arrow. 4 to 3, downward direction arrow, close to C. Okay, next. Next, 4 to U. 4 to U, 4 to U, right direction arrow, close to U. Here, 4 to U, right direction arrow, close to C. Okay, here, this arrow. The arrow we have to consider which is close to C because we are analyzing C. Okay, now similarly, in this way, we can able to analyze the rest of the members. Okay, now consider joint D, E to 7. Where is E? E to 7. Somewhere here, E to 7. This arrow, similarly, E to 7. We are analyzing D. So E to 7, this arrow which is close to D. Okay, and similarly, the next members we have solved, and finally, you will get each and every direction and each and every value which is shown in the diagram like this. Okay, so each and every member, see here, inclined members are also shown. Okay, each and every member which is calculated with in this way in the diagram. Okay, only what we have to do, we have to find out the member in vector diagram. Okay, find out the member in vector diagram. The starting point and end point, we have to draw a direction. Okay, direction which is close to the next point, and the same direction we have to apply in the truss at the point where we are analyzing the point. Okay, whatever the point we are analyzing, close to that point we have to show the arrow. Okay, in this way finally our final truss will be shown like this. Okay, this is the final location of all the compression and tension members of the truss in vector diagram as well as in main truss. Okay, after that there is a point, or there is a calculation of total load. Okay, now we know that our what is our intention? Our scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilonewton, isn't it? Now, so we are going to analyze this truss for dead load and live load. Here I have calculated for dead load only. Okay, now see how to convert it into loads. See, 2-3 member here, 2-3 member is shown here. Okay, measure the length of 2-3 member. So if you measure the length, that length comes out to be 2 centimeter. Now as 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilonewton, then 2 centimeter is equal to 2 kilonewton. Similarly, measure the length of 3-4 member. So 3-4 member is having length 0.6 centimeter. So 0.6 centimeter length is to be shown like 0.6 kilonewton. Similarly, 4-5 member. 4-5 member is having length 1.9 centimeter. So it is equal to 1.9 kilonewton. Similarly, 5-6 member, length is 1.2 centimeter. So that length is 1.2 kilonewton. Okay, similarly 6-7 member, 2 centimeter, 2 kilonewton. Like this, each and every member you are able to calculate the force in that particular member. Okay, so this is all about dead load analysis in case of truss.